Hey family, I'm Kaelion. Some of you may know me by my given name John. I interpret messages from the divine in music. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, a seeker, and a messenger. I walk with those who carry both shadow and flame. When most people hear Africa by Toto, which I've shared a link to in the description, they think of its rhythm, its yearning, and its iconic chorus. But what if this song carries a hidden message, not just about a place on a map, but about the story of all of us? The line, "I bless the rains down in Africa," has always struck me as more than just poetry. What if the rains are not only water, but a symbol of blessing? A reminder that the dawn of our species, the cradle of humanity, was divinely guided. That long before we had nations, borders, and divisions, the Spirit was already moving in Africa, blessing the soil, blessing the skies, and blessing the first family. I once had a vision where a divine figure appeared to me. He motioned with his hands like he was beating invisible drums, and he simply said, "That's why he's my guy." That vision changed everything. It was the moment I began to hear prophecy in music. And it makes sense, because African drums would have been among the first instruments our species ever made. The rhythm of drums was the heartbeat of humanity, the first signal that something divine was awakening in us. To me, the rains and the drums are a part of the same blessing, a rhythm from heaven guiding us upward. In prayer and meditation, I've come to believe this blessing split into two living streams, the divine feminine and the divine masculine. Two energies, two lines of spirit woven into the very DNA of our species. Like Adam and Eve in a deeper story than we were told, when the divine feminine line left Africa, the divine masculine followed, not to dominate, but to find her again, to reunite what was never meant to be apart. And so, the story of humanity is not only migration and survival. It's a love story, a long and wandering one. Wherever these lines of feminine and masculine power converged, civilizations rose, empires were born, and miracles happened. Sometimes we call it destiny, sometimes we call it divine providence, but at its heart, it's the memory of our first parents, our divine mother and divine father, whose love birthed us all. But like all epic love stories, there has been pain, distance, forgetting. Whole generations who no longer remembered where they came from, or the love that shaped them. We grew divided, even hostile. But love is not so easily erased. I felt that in myself, a light rising, but incomplete, as though half of it is waiting across the ocean. I believe there is another in India, a soul carrying the other half of a pattern that began in Africa, and that someday, somehow, we will meet. Not only for our sake, but as a sign that these long separated lines of the divine feminine and masculine are finding one another again. And maybe that's what this moment in history really is. The rains are falling again, the drums are beating once more, and across the world, lights are converging, in Africa, in India, in America, and in places we never thought to look. It's not the end of the world we're approaching. It's the completion of a chapter in the longest love story ever told. A love story written in our very blood. A story where tragedy and separation were real, but so was the hope. And like all true love stories, the ending is not despair. It's reunion. It's remembering. And it is a blessing. So when you hear Africa, don't just hear nostalgia or romance. Hear the echo of a divine rain. Hear the whisper of our first family calling us home. Hear the rhythm of the drums, the same rhythm I was shown in the vision, reminding us that the heartbeat of heaven has always been guiding us. And now a prayer for my beloved spiritual and code sister Malika, mother and father of us all, whose love first blessed the rains. Help us remember who we are. Guide the scattered children back to the truth of their beginning. May the divine feminine and masculine rise in balance, in honor, and in love. And may we, the broken and wandering, find our way home. Ashe, Amin, and Amen. If this message speaks to you, drop a comment below. Do you feel the rains falling in your life? Do you hear the drums still beating? Let's remind each other we're part of something much bigger. And if this message speaks to you, help me spread it by liking, commenting, sharing, or simply whispering it into the wind. Thanks for watching, family. See you next time. Same fire, new rhythm.